So close to happening. And we're going to talk a lot more about Kansas State here in just a second because there is a lot to unpack with those not so powerful cats it's looking at the moment. But y'all already know my overreaction, okay? I walked into the high school this morning a little bit taller than I have in about 3 years. Okay, I drove my purple car up. I was feeling good. Okay, I had my Horn Frog belt buckle on. It was the frogs are back, baby. I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful performance, 48-14. Dominated in every phase of the game. I was those first two drives, I was in my feelings. I was ready to throw things. The usual fire everyone the place that we've all been, but man, the frogs, they executed well. Josh Hoover looked immaculate, dropping dimes to Jordan Dwyer, ruining ESPN's night. We love any time that Kirk Herbstreit is forced to watch TCU against his will. If you would ask him before the game, I don't think TCU was even on the field. It was just North Carolina was just there to have a coronation for Bill Belichick. But the running game is back. What? TCU can run the football again? Kavorian Barnes, you beautiful muskox. The offensive line looked good. The defense was executing. And I don't care how bad North Carolina is. I said this last night on the postgame show, if any of y'all were watching. I don't care how bad they are. The fact that TCU was able to execute at the level that they were, it's like what Austin was saying about Tech playing Arkansas Pine Bluff. When you're clicking on all cylinders like that, TCU wasn't able to do that last year. We weren't able to execute against UCF, against Houston. We weren't able to execute against bad teams. But, buddy, we did it last night. And I am just – the confidence train is hurtling off the tracks right now. It's a rough place to be in at the beginning of September, I got to tell you.
You guys kind of have to because you don't have the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Yeah, I gotta. my wagon is always hitched to TCU first and foremost, but buddy, yeah, we ain't got nothing else. Literally nothing else in the Metroplex to be excited about at all.
Dallas Fort Worth being really excited about college football because they definitely don't have an NFL season to look.
I will say, we are at least playing meaningful Rangers baseball right now. 2 games out of the wild card last I looked. So there is that.
That's fair.
But hey, yeah, it's all frogs, and the schedule's still tough. SMU, Arizona State are coming up around the bend. Those are going to be tough games. I'm still scared of that West Virginia game on the road. I'm becoming a little more worried about that BYU game. It's a tough schedule, but man, give me this team again. I love this team lining up against anybody else. I'm excited. I'm still feeling very confident. Josh Hoover for Heisman. You bet your sweet butt. The wrong Texas quarterback was getting Heisman hype before the season. Should have been Josh Hoover. All right, we'll move on.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Okay, so move on to this next segment. Speaking of Kansas State, all right, this is a new segment for us. I'm calling it Panic or Hammock. All right, basically, we've got teams that have gotten off to a little bit of rocky starts. Is it time to hammer that panic button? Or, hey, relax, lay back in the hammock. It's going to be just fine, okay? And first, we already started talking about it, so our first panic or hammock, Kansas State. Are the Power Cats in trouble, gentlemen? Both of you have no bias whatsoever when it comes to this team. I know. So tell me, Kansas State, they lost the tough one in Ireland. They barely beat North Dakota, not the good one, right? Should the Cats be panicking?
I think that the panic button should be like hand-on button, but not quite slapping it silly like the lizard meme. They do have Army. Army did not look good. I think that's going to be a very good rebound game for them. Then they have Arizona right after that, which is going to be another good rebound game. And then they have UCF. So they realistically do have the capability of flipping this to where they can go 4-1 into what I think is going to be more of their complicated schedule, which is going to be at Baylor, TCU, at KU, Tech, Okie State, Utah, and then they finish with Colorado. So it's realistically going to be how does Kansas State bounce back from being on the ropes with this FCS team, and if they can really rally the troops. Because again, losing to Iowa State doesn't necessarily take them out of the Big 12 championship contention, but what they showed us at North Dakota, like against North Dakota, there has to be some sort of hovering over the panic button, I feel.
Yeah, quickly, Chris. It's North Dakota, not North Dakota State, right? North Dakota State's the good one.
Yeah,
That's
not the good one.
That's the one that it's okay to lose to every now and then, not North Dakota. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead, Austin. Hammock
I
or
mean,
panic?
I want to see how they do against Army. I think that's a team that, like you said, they didn't look very good last week. But I think what Army does pretty well is they hold on to the ball quite a bit, and they like to play the time of possession game. I know that's something that Kansas State likes to do, just, historically wise. Like, they've always been known to be a team that holds on to the ball for as long as they can. I mean, depending upon I think the Army game will kind of determine whether or not like they need to start hitting the panic button a million times. I think right now, absolutely, because I mean, look, like now they're the team in the state of Kansas that's struggling against FCS opponents. It's just funny how the tables kind of turn in that realm. But I want to see how they do against Army before I really say that they should be panicking, because Kansas State, they're always going to find a way. Like, that sometimes they won't start off great, but then they always find a way to have good games in September and October, and then really find their way to the postseason, have a chance to play in the Big 12 championship game. But I don't think that they're going to make it to the championship game this year. I mean, I know we're only 2 weeks into the season, but still, I think I got to see how they do against Army first. But I would hit the panic button, but I think a good game versus Army will help them out.
Yeah. I mean, I got to admit, if I was a Kansas State fan, it'd be hard not to be hitting the panic button, because I mean,